right.
Seems like the other one's actually not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are you getting?
He wants me to give him
I'm waiting for
an
his.
ID and password. That's all right. Go ahead.
No.
Well, you don't.
Figure it
It's
out.
probably a security thing they're doing right now. They do that sometimes for Apple, so
I bypassed. I mean, I just said not now on the thing, but
they won't let you.
It won't let you this time.
no, not now.
Just to even get your emails, it's making you do that.
Yep. Create new. Okay, well, go ahead.
All right.
Maybe it'll come here. Oh, that's right.
Your presentations will be on.
Yeah. Thank you, council's on me.
Did you click on email?
I clicked on the other email
Yeah.
thing. Now it's good.
Okay. And just do the first email that I'll check the first one she sent.
I opened it on my home
I saw this.
computer at work. But
What are we
Yeah,
on?
there should be an attachment. Does everybody have the agenda up?
Printed material.
That's all right. Oh, you sent it back.
I'm good.
All right.
I want to find
Okay.
out more when they.
Is it on? Okay, I'm going to bring the meeting to order of the Sunnyvale Type A Development Corporation Board of Directors meeting Wednesday, September 28th at 5 p.m. All board members are present and we do have a quorum. I'm going to move into the public forum. Is there anybody here that would like to speak in the public forum? I think that those are all presenters, correct? Okay, not seeing anyone here to speak?
Terry.
Oh, I'm sorry, we do.
Hello.
Yes, Derek.
Derek Sullivan, 45 New Hope Road, Sunnyvale. Last summer, some of you weren't here the day I presented the Park Square project, but I did tell a story about K. Paul back in 1999 at church one morning. He came up to my wife and I and he said, you know, you and your wife and little baby girl ought to move to Sunnyvale and help me get that high school built. So I was standing next to him in 2008 when they were breaking ground on the school. So that's the little K. Paul story for you there. And he also told me he was about to build a project, a bunch of custom homes over on the land where his family goes bird hunting. And I thought, oh, that's crazy. No one's going to build homes over there. How many homes now?
150?
150. Wow.
John Canyon.
Okay, so I say all that to give you an update on Park Square.
Yeah.
Just in 7 weeks of construction, we've already spent more money than the 4A and 4B grants combined. So there's a lot of money in dirt apparently, and underground utility work. If you guys would like to receive weekly updates on what's going on at Park Square, talk to Tracy, just give her your email and then she'll get it to me. Every week we get pictures of what's going on at the project, pages of pictures, and then you will also receive a day-by-day account of what they did at the project, and then kind of general notes, and then what's coming up for next week. And none of this has financial information in it, but anytime you want to know how much we spend or schedule of values or any of those accounting type things, just let me know and I can share that. That's open book to you guys too. So thanks, and I'll sit down now.
Thanks,
Thank
Derek.
you.
Anybody else want to speak in the public forum? Okay, I'm going to close the public forum then and move on to presentations. Item number 1, excuse me, discuss and consider presentation from Hope Coffee, Sunnyvale. You're up, Brian.
My name is Brian Masters. It's good to be here with you guys tonight and share a little bit about what we're planning on doing as a tenant of the building being built in Sunnyvale Park Square. Hope Coffee is a coffee company in which we currently serve in over 400 and some churches and businesses across the U.S. You can see some of them on the screen, some of the logos of some of the local area churches in the DFW area, and some here in Sunnyvale, Forney, Mesquite, and the surrounding communities. We do have a coffee shop at Dallas Theological Seminary. Been running that for about 4 years, and also providing coffee at Criswell College here in town and different places. And so it's great tasting coffee, and we use our profit to go and meet the needs of people in other communities in Honduras and Mexico where the coffee comes from, as we're being able to meet those needs and share spiritual content and things as well with them. And so that's just a part of who we are as a company, and what we are planning on doing next door is providing you guys great coffee. Everybody loves a great cup of coffee, and we will have that. We are providing that and have for a number of years on our other coffee shop location. What we are planning for 2019 is hiring 2 managers, 3 baristas, and in 2021 we'll probably add an additional couple baristas to that as the volume grows and as our needs grow there at that location. But we do provide coffee from Honduras and Mexico. Our decaf is from Guatemala, which does not make the Guatemalans happy. They want us to provide a real robust coffee for them, but eventually we will probably add some of those things. We also provide great community, a place where people can gather and meet and have meetings and talk and have just conversations with different people. Our projected sales for this location is $450,000 on an annual basis, which brings in a taxable income of $37,125 at the 8.25% range. But not only providing great community around a cup of coffee, but also in people seeing what we're doing and how we're meeting needs in other countries and things as well. We also provide great service. That's part of our tagline as a company is serve better. We believe we have done that and been able to meet that for our customers across the U.S. as well as here in the Dallas area. To do that, it does take an infrastructure of staffing, to be able to provide enough staff to meet the customer's needs as they're walking in and be able to provide drinks in a timely manner, as well as a great location there. And so it's part of the infrastructure cost that we're looking at. The total cost of the project is a little over $200,000. $100,000 of that is for the infrastructure piece, $75,000 for plumbing, kitchen, all the different things that go into providing the infrastructure that we need in that facility, and then $25,000 is going to be for the drive-through systems and for part of our POS system and things to be able to provide the service there. What we are planning is a modified version of a drive-through type system where it's more of a mobile pickup, mobile app type system where people can order and come and pick up their order at that location. So we do provide a great service and want to continue that, and that's part of the reason why we want to be here, and we're requesting $50,000 from the EDC to help offset those infrastructure costs. Our initial labor cost, we're projecting the sales based on some of the traffic flow counts and things of the road, part of the office building location, park traffic and different things as well. And so to be able to provide that service, we want to be able to staff it well to begin with to make sure we're doing that and providing the service. You can see on your screen what we're planning on doing and how that drive-through is set up currently.
So how does the drive-through work then? Because you said
It's still in
not really-
discussion. From what I understand, this has to go through some sort of approval process again with the city, but we are looking at a mobile ordering type drive-through, not a traditional squawk box. I don't know the technical term for that, but we call them squawk boxes. But we want to try to provide a way for them to pick it up at the window, either through mobile ordering or park, and be able to tell us that they're there at that location. That appears to be where the future is going with a lot of the quick service restaurants. Chipotle has already introduced some of this, some other chicken restaurants in California product in that type of venue. Do you have any other questions on that? Or you may have questions at the end? To kind of sum that up, our projected sales $450,000, total with a sales tax of about $37,000, about $100,000 in infrastructure, and we're requesting $50,000 to help offset those costs. We're excited to be here and to be coming and providing great coffee for you guys. Again, our product is coffee. Our service is through the community and to meet the needs of the community here and internationally, and we plan to do that by serving better.
So do all your coffee shops look the same? You know, the pictures you're showing us of the inside?
These two are just design pictures of conceptual ideas of what that may look like. These other pictures are the actual shop at Dallas Theological Seminary, but it is it was an existing building that we retrofitted into without a lot of extra design work. They are currently building a new building that will open in the spring of 2020, which we'll be in for that. And so they are creating those designs at that point. We are in discussion with the architect and an interior designer for what this particular facility will look like.
Are
Is
you,
this-
oh, go ahead. Are you starting off with just coffee and then you're gonna add sweets and other stuff? or I was
We will
just curious?
have some sort of pastry, snacks, and different things that will also go through the drive-through window for that as well. Depending on how the restaurant will function that's going to be in that location, we may be able to partner with them to provide some things as well. So we will have some sort of snack type food, pastries, it could be pie, it could be ice cream. There are several different options that we're considering depending on how the restaurant works, so that we're working in tandem.
I just have a question on this location here, is this, and you have the one at Dallas DTS,
Yes,
I guess. Are there another free, not
Free,
not
correct.
so much a church-based
Correct.
location, but is there another one? And how does this volume stack up? I'm just trying to get kind of the integrity, the feel of the
Sure.
volume compared to some other of the operations that you
Good
have.
question, good question. We do not have another freestanding location. This is gonna be the first corner coffee shop, if you wanna call it that, for us, and we have not run one with a drive-through. So that is why we're researching the new methods to do that well, so that we serve the community well with that. The process we went through to come up with these numbers, I think, is part of what you're asking, of what our, let me get back to that screen here, our projected sales of 450,000. We came at that with two different directions. One is looking at what our current coffee shop is with a multiplier based on additional hours of being open, additional days being open. The second way we came at that number and arrived at an equivalent number was taking the drive-by traffic and the drive-through traffic, the drive-by traffic on Collins Road, the traffic counts and things, and you generally get 1.5% of those pulling into a coffee shop, whether it's they walk inside or come through the drive-through. And then you get about 5% of the walk-by traffic, which there's not a lot of people walking the road at the moment, but we do have those who are here in this building, the bank, or the office building that will be there, as well as the park. And so we're taking those into consideration as well. And looking at those numbers, that seems to be a viable number based on the number of tickets that we will have per day and the number of days we're open. So the average ticket price, we are estimating around a $6 range. It's going to be coffee plus food type thing.
Is that, what are your planned hours?
Paul,
Mhm.
real quick, will you
Oh, I'm
make sure you
sorry.
turn on your mics?
Oh.
Sorry, forgive me. What are the planned operating hours? Have you thought that out yet?
Sure.
Or do you know what that is?
We are currently planning from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. From Monday through Saturday. We do not plan at the moment to be open on Sunday, but we could, depending on different circumstances. Those hours are what we're budgeting for. We're going to have to determine and see how that works specifically in the fall with the football season. Do we need to be open later to be able to accommodate those things for the city, and what does that look like? And so typically in a standalone type shop, the recommendation has been to not publish what the hours are until you understand what the local economy needs to be able to set those final hours. We're budgeting for 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
I have just a quick question.
Sure.
On the 50,000 request, how much of that is related, percentage-wise, to infrastructure costs, and how much of that's related to initial labor costs?
The infrastructure costs are the 75,000 piece for what's, in essence, kind of, if you want to call that under the ground type of things, as well as part of our kitchen location. The labor cost, we didn't put a particular number together to put a percentage on that. I can come up with that here in a minute, but we didn't do any calculation.
So another question that got kind of brought up is for the plumbing and the infrastructure, that not already come with building?
With the build-out
Mhm.
function, as a tenant, we are allowed, the TI build-out. That's assuming that, because we're in the building phase of that, if it were an existing building, we would have to tear up the floor and put those things in with the grab and all those things. We have the benefit of knowing what that cost is up front and putting that in, but we are having to bear that cost. That is not a built-in cost from the building. They're not.
I have a question for either Derek or Tracy. Are they getting a turn lane on the new expanded road?
New expanded road, the turn lane will be into, is that on here?
Sure.
I can't see, oh, you can't see it. Look at the top of that picture there on your right, and the turn lane is into the bank, the left-hand turn lane.
Okay.
And that's why we have the cross-access easement with the bank. So they have granted us use of their turn lane and their driveway, and we have a connection, our fire lane drive actually connects to their property.
The reason I
There's
ask is
two ways
because
in.
morning traffic, which is what you're going to be targeting, is going to be coming from
Exactly, opposite way.
the opposite way, and they need a way to get in there. And I
There's
didn't.
two ways to get in.
Okay.
And that was why that easement was so critical, to have left and right turn into the property.
Our hope is that the customers that are coming in the morning, going against traffic in a sense, or need to cross over, that with the traffic circle being there, they can come back through the traffic circle and enter the bank and come through that process. It's a little bit extra work, but they can exit that same way and get back into the flow of traffic without going against any real major traffic. We believe that customers will, the 1.5%, want their coffee enough to go through that hassle, since there's no other option available at this point. From what we understand with Quick Trip and other vendors and other companies coming in, they're going to be at a different location for those coming specifically from Forney and coming down Collins Road, cutting through, and we're assuming they're headed to George Bush, is where a number of those are going.
Since you're both here, if I could ask a question. Going back to the plumbing and the infrastructure, is your plumbing from the slab up, your infrastructure costs, or how much is coming with the building? I'm getting a little confused because
Sure.
the deals I've always done in the past, the shell was there, the plumbing was there, I got TI money for the finish out,
Right.
and we're all good to go. But I'm hearing that the cost below the slab, or maybe you can clarify
Yeah.
that for me.
They're getting a cold, dark shell. That's how we're delivering the space to them.
Okay.
And they do have some finish out money that the landlord will be giving them, but it doesn't cover the cost of their project.
Okay.
With that shell, our responsibility is to provide the kitchen equipment, the plumbing, all the things that we need. If we were an office building, we wouldn't need that, or whatever tenant would be moving in there that's not a coffee shop. So, in some sense, treating it as if it's a shell for whatever we intend to do as a tenant.
Yeah, they'll have their own water meter, their own electric meter, their own gas meter. So everything that they need to do, they won't, and they'll have to pay for an air conditioner too.
You're hard on them, man.
I was going to say that.
It must be a sweet lease deal.
Yeah.
Heat is optional.
Oh, yeah, you get it.
We have coffee.
from the
Derek gets
lights.
free coffee.
But you know what Brian didn't say was, we have patio areas outside of their shop that is probably half the size of the interior space, that looks out onto the lawn area and where the fountain is in that courtyard. And just to give you a size example, this shop that they're building is nearly identical to the size of the Starbucks at Town East, the one that's across from the mall there on County Boulevard. That one doesn't have drive-through, but that's about a 1,500, 1,600 square foot store.
So there's a main, I'm gonna go back to this.
Please do.
There's a main sewer line that he will be required to connect to. Or tell me how that works. I'm just trying to get a better feel for this.
A sewer line, yes. We'll have, water lines will come up into their space at their expense, and then we have an electric room. And the fire sprinkler room, they'll have to tie into that as well, and all their subs will have access to that. But the sewer and all, the sewer line, everybody in the entire project ties into the same sanitary sewer line, and the storm sewer goes to the back.
Gotcha.
So there's a big trunk line that runs underneath all the buildings that they'll tap into.
Okay.
I'm looking at our numbers just to help answer that question. We're budgeting roughly $13,000 a month for wages, for the baristas, the managers, and that kind of thing. So that helps to understand what we're looking at. Part of that is having enough, and that's 3 baristas, 3 people on staff in that morning rush hour time. When you're doing, if you're doing about 60 to 90 drinks an hour, that's when you need 3 people on shift. And that's part of knowing we've got somebody that is managing the drive-in, drive-through window, and then 2 managing the counter and or delivering through the mobile ordering. So that's how we're gauging that, is how many drinks per hour are we doing and how many people need to be on shift.
This may be a stupid question, but so do you have like iced coffee and lattes and?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, we will have frozen drinks, blended drinks, fraps, whatever you want to call them, as well as cold brew coffee. We do plan, let's see if it makes it through, we do plan on a nitro infusion type coffee as well as all the hot coffees, lattes, and those kind of things. And we have hot tea, iced tea, as well as tea lattes and those types of things. So there'll be a lot of variety of different drinks and things, and what you would normally get at a high-end coffee shop.
You think?
Smoothies may be, fruit smoothies may be a possibility. We have not done them to this point, but we've had flavored types of drinks that we can do.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to presentation number 2. Discuss and consider presentation from Co-Create Exchange, Sunnyvale.
Good evening. My name is Ben Penfold. I'm here to present Co-Create. Co-Create is the next big thing. We're in the industry of collaborative workspace. Our competitors are very popular. Regis, WeWork, Common Desk. Texas is actually second on the list in the country of number of co-working spaces, just under 20 behind New York City, or New York. And the co-working industry is kind of taking the commercial real estate industry by storm. And we want to bring that to Sunnyvale, and this is why. Sunnyvale is home to some of Dallas-Fort Worth's top executives. The town is void of an executive community space. An executive community is kind of what we brand ourselves as catering to and serving executives in these outer rim towns around Dallas-Fort Worth and eventually around the country. Real estate available here in Sunnyvale doesn't necessarily accommodate the executive community, and that is why we see Sunnyvale as a key area for us to grow our company. So Sunnyvale needs to offer its executives a place to build in relationships, advance their business, and new businesses need a place to incubate. And you have to have smaller, flexible leases to make that happen, and that's what our industry is. So our solution is Co-Create Sunnyvale. We'll be in the building that we've been talking about already. In the back of the building, if you vision our building, it'll be in the back overlooking the park. The office will have 18 various sized offices. We plan to accommodate about 100 memberships, and we'll have up to 3 conference rooms with over 10,000 hours of conference room time available. With that, we can host events for the community. Anybody's business can come into the space and use our conference rooms. With our membership, you get baked into it membership or conference room time, all the amenities that come with a space like that, coffee. There's a community manager, kind of like a receptionist for the whole community. That's part of that. And so you can come into a small office but have all the benefits of a big office. So we'll be leveraging our relationship with the building in Sunnyvale with offering our members a $100 credit to the coffee shop or to the office or to the restaurant, so they can have access to that. And that's part of almost all of our memberships. There's some less expensive options that don't include the food, but we want to present the ecosystem and create the ecosystem that this is a Sunnyvale business that represents the town and provides community. So our values, obviously community. That's why we're choosing the smaller outer rim communities, because you can't go downtown and have real good community because everybody's driving down there and out. But in Sunnyvale, you have the opportunity to impact a community and be part of the infrastructure and the DNA of it. Productivity, we want business to be done. We view our space as a place where business gets done, and we hope business deals in Sunnyvale actually get inked in our space. And service, we want to serve the community, we want to serve our members well, and be an active member in all of that. Also, our team, as you can see, we have a very diverse background with legal, finance, operations. And one of the perks that members can get as coming into our space is that they can help or utilize our services to boost their business. So if you were needing legal help or accounting, we'd have those services to where we could help, in essence, incubate businesses within our space. I don't know what Derek would do, but here's our location. There's the picture of the building. The yellow parts are the offices. The big yellow square is actually where we're planning our corporate headquarters. So right now we're officing out of Dallas. Once this is built, we'd like to move our whole staff into this building. So all the smaller ones to the left there are offices. The blue is the conference rooms, work rooms, and we have 2 little blue things that are called phone booths. So if you're, one of the memberships that we have is called just a community membership. So you don't have a hardwall office, but you can come in and utilize all the amenities. So think of yourself pulling open your laptop and sitting on one of those brown tables kind of out there in that gray area. Then if you get a phone call, and it needs to be private, you can hop into a phone booth, take the phone call, finish your business, and then go back out. So it kind of has that community feel where you can move around and still get work done. The key outcomes that we have for Sunnyvale is we want to use this space to incubate and grow new business and grow smaller businesses. We hope that our members become tenants in a building within Sunnyvale. Hopefully Sunnyvale Park Square is full, so we'll have to go build another building. But think of businesses coming in, starting their business, then growing into perhaps a Sunnyvale downtown or somewhere local. It's a location to build business and community. We want our members to be executive, be part of the influencers within the community. We want flexibility. It gives residents of Sunnyvale a diverse option. Yeah, you can go take 1,000 square feet on Park Square, but if you don't need that much, you can come take an office with us, and it gives flexibility so that Sunnyvale residents don't have to go to Mesquite or Forney or Dallas. They can come and stay here and spend their dollars in Sunnyvale. It gives opportunity for a Chamber of Commerce to host events. Other city events can utilize our space. With the restaurant there, you can imagine catering being an easy plug and play within that. And we also see this attracting residents from Forney, Terrell. In Heath, we have an office just like this that's being opened in 10 days. And we already have people interested. There's lawyers. There's a installation and soundproofing company that's going to have their executive office there, a building company. And all these people chose Heath as a strategic place because they have clients in Terrell, they have clients in Rockwell, so there's a demand for this location because people coming from Forney or Terrell want proximity to Dallas but may not want to drive to Dallas. So the town of Sunnyvale is attractive for that, which also increases tax revenue because people will start going to the restaurant and the coffee shop. Like I said, Co-Create will bring our innovative company to Sunnyvale, and by 2020 we anticipate at least 5 Co-Creates within the Metroplex. We're looking at other towns like Lucas, kind of just take a band around DFW and look at different places. Those members, say if you become a member of Sunnyvale and you want to go do business in Heath, you can go still hop into the office and have access to it. So there's that benefit as well. And so with all that, as we ramp up, we anticipate adding more executives to our staff even here in Sunnyvale. So with this, we're asking for $50,000. The entire project, which includes furniture, fixtures, and these are all high-end, Class A, really nice fixtures. We also have to deal with the stinginess of Sunnyvale Park Square and have to do our own AC and everything like that, so that's built into that cost. I'm just kidding, Derek. And the funding with the $50,000 will allow us to hire a full-time community manager from the get-go. With the pro forma, we kind of have it at part-time now, but with this would give us the full-time service that we would want to provide for our community. Any questions?
So how much are memberships? Did you mention that, or?
No, so we have the office memberships vary based on the size of the office. They start out at $1,200 a month. Again, that includes cleaning, internet. You don't have to worry about a thing. You just come in, pull up your laptop, and get ready to go. We have 2 other types of memberships. The first one is called the community level membership, which is $350 a month. Gets you access to the space 24/7. You get a certain number of printing at our, we have a business grade printer. It gets you the free coffee, all those amenities, plus 4 hours of conference room time a month. And then we have the premium level membership, which is all that, but it's 10 hours of conference room time and then $100 credit at the restaurant or coffee shop.
So 24/7, so did people have keys or a keypad, or?
It's all based on a technology. We'll use the same security that's going to be installed on the office building, and it's all Bluetooth enabled. So when you walk up to the office, you have a key, and then when you walk into our office, you have another key that'll open when you're within 10 or 15 feet.
No sales
Nice.
tax generated.
No sales tax, unfortunately. But we would be providing, if we hit our projections, our business would be spending about $110,000 a year at the restaurant and coffee shop. That would be our money going towards those. We do have fixtures and furniture and all that, but the tax implications of those are pretty minimal.
So is the Heath location your first location?
Yes, it is. We have experience with other spaces like this in Dallas. We've consulted with another firm in the past and learned a lot, and they are no longer in business. But we learn about this, and we really like this outer rim area. Everybody's going to Dallas, and why create this space, this innovative new space in Dallas where everybody's already commuting? We could do the same thing and do it in the community where they live, and it keeps people close to home. And so there isn't tax implications, and Heath is the same way. They ask those questions, but we envision creating businesses within the space that do provide taxes down the road, and create businesses within Sunnyvale that Sunnyvale can be proud of.
And hopefully your members will be spending money in Sunnyvale too.
Yes.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Where's your headquarters right now?
Over in Dallas, right near Eastfield College.
And then the corporate headquarters is moving down here?
Yeah.
That staff? How big is the staff?
It's us.
Oh, it's just, okay,
Yeah,
I didn't know
right
if it
there.
was someone additional.
So, well, and we have each, so there'll be a staff member here, we'll have a staff member in Heath. And so each space will have at least one community manager. And then as we grow, these are big projects, so we have architectural development and all that goes with it.
Thank you.
How many total square feet?
This one's 5,500.
When you say community manager, is that your on-site operations kind of property management type person, as well as business development person, or?
Yeah, the executive staff will serve in multiple roles as well, so we'll do a lot of the business development. But as the space gets going, that community manager will function more and more so in development. And as we grow, we'll have centralized developments, like out of our office, we could have one person serving Heath and Sunnyvale for business development, or Wiley, or those areas. So right now, though, with the four of us, we can facilitate most of it. But as the business continues to grow, we'll have more and more staff that will be servicing a lot of this. In the previous business that we were working with, there was one person managing about 12,000 square feet. And it was a lot for that one person. But think of the community manager as a receptionist, male, plus event planner. There's lots of programming that we'll do that helps. We could have banks come in and give talks on interest rate projections. We could have real estate agents come in and talk about trends in DFWs. So that manager would kind of help program all of that.
Don't have a membership, utilize the facility.
Yes, we have hourly rates on the conference room and daily rates for the community space. So you could come in and utilize it. But we've priced it to where if you get the memberships, it's a much better deal.
And the other one was, do you see Heath and Sunnyvale spaces competing against each other?
No, because like I said, we've had pre-sales in Heath already, and we're pulling from probably 2-mile radius around our space. That's where most of our prospective members are coming from. We see, if we put it in Rockwall, certainly that one would compete with Heath, or if we put it in Mesquite, that one would compete with Sunnyvale, but we have no plans, because neither of those areas hit our household income, house prices, all that. So Sunnyvale and Heath hit those.
Everybody good? All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay, we're going to move on to discussion action items, but I'm going to skip down to item number 11 for Ms. Phyllis. Discuss and consider the updated September 2018 financial reporting and related financial items.
Good evening. We are going to start with the updated September 30th, 2018 financials. Those are being presented again just as an update, simply because we have our sales tax receipts, as we've talked about before, run 2 months behind. So we have received the actual sales tax receipts for the month of August, and those are reflected in these updated September financials. In addition to that, we had a couple of expenses that ran past the September 30th original report that were paid that do affect these fund balances for September 30th, 2018. And that was a legal fees bill, some credit card charges related to the IEDC Atlanta conference. With those sales tax receipts for the month of August and with these $392 worth of expenses we also had, that is going to bring your fund balance as of 9/30 to $2,330,452. There will be one additional update that you'll receive at your next meeting, and that will be because at that point we will have received actual sales tax receipts for the month of September.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the treasurer how that looks, and then anybody else have any questions?
I looked it over before the meeting, it looked good to me. I didn't have any questions.
Anybody else have any questions on the September?
I'll make a motion, oh, I'm sorry. Were you-
Go ahead.
Susan?
Okay, I was gonna make a motion to approve the revised September financials. So I did.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Bokniak and a second from Mr. Weeks to approve the revised September 2018 financial reporting. All in favor, please raise your right hand. It passes unanimously. So we'll move on to item number 12. Discuss and consider the October 2018 financial reporting and related financial items.
Okay, for October 31st, 2018, we had month-to-date expenses of $4,895.71 and month-to-date revenues of $32,716.79. The sales tax recorded year-to-date is $31,250, which is actually just 1 month accrual into the new year. Interest earned year-to-date is $1,466.79, and our month-to-date expenses, which of course, since this is the first month of the new year, your month-to-date and your year-to-date totals will be the same. The year-to-date expenses were $4,895.71, and they included our routine payroll and some miscellaneous travel expenses for the IEDC conference in Atlanta. As of 10/31/2018, you're going to have a total fund balance of $2,358,273, of which you do have assigned $54,000 for the barn at Long Creek and $187,500 for Hope Development, bringing an unassigned fund balance to $2,116,773. Now, with the update, with the 1 month update we still have left for September, that will also change these October numbers. So you will see at your next meeting one last look at September, one additional look at October, as well as your November numbers.
You said that was after the barn at Long Creek and Derrick Saucer Development? Is that the two?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how much was the barn at Long Creek?
54,000.
Total 108,000.
Okay. All right. Again, Mr. Treasurer?
It's gonna be the easiest month of the year.
Yeah.
Until things start accumulating. I didn't have any issues.
Gets complicated after this month.
Well, you know it.
Anybody have any questions for Phyllis or our treasurer, Mr. Bokniak? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept to approve the October financials as presented.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Bokniak and a second from Mr. Weeks to approve the October 2018 financial reporting as presented. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Again, passes unanimously. Thank you,
all.
Ms. Phyllis.
Good night.
Thank you for hanging, fellows.
Oh, you're welcome. I enjoyed that. I listened to them last night, but I enjoyed listening to it again.
Good. Take care. All right, so are we ready to approve a bunch of minutes?
So just right off the bat, so you know, one, we're not streaming tonight for some reason, so.
Did you double check that?
Yeah, I even looked at it on my phone. That's not what I was gonna tell you, but for the minutes, item number 3, item number 7, and item number 8 will need to be tabled. Those are not completed yet.
Okay, 3, 7 and 8. Okay,
And then the way this is laid out for the agenda, you'll have to approve and second each individual.
okay. All right, well, I guess we'll move on then to item number 4, because number 3 is being tabled, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Discuss and consider approval of the regular meeting minutes from March 1st, 2018. So if anybody didn't have any corrections or questions, I entertain a motion.
I have that as number 3 for some reason. 3B. Maybe I'm looking at
There's
the
an
wrong one.
updated one that you should have gotten.
Okay.
Okay,
But here's
I'll
the,
go back.
here's the printout.
Okay.
So did you say March 1st or March 21st?
March 21st,
Oh,
2018.
okay, all right.
Okay. Anybody didn't have any questions, I'll make a motion that we approve the March 21st, 2018 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
I have a motion for Mr. Cash and a second for Mr. Bokniak to approve the March 21st, 2018 regular meeting minutes. All in favor, please raise your right hand. And it also passes unanimously. Item number 5, discuss and consider approval of the regular meeting minutes from April 10th, 2018.
My only change was the one I visited with Tracy about, but replacing President Giordano in item 2 with President Shatter. Unless you want to, unless he stepped in for the meeting that I didn't see.
Make a motion.
Yeah, make a motion with your correction.
I'll make a motion to approve the April 10 minutes with the correction of Shatter instead of Mr. Giordano as president in item 2.
I have a motion for Mr. Bokniak and a second from Mr. Weeks to approve the April 10th, 2018 meeting minutes with the correction of President Shatter instead of Giordano in item number 2. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, passes unanimously. Item number 6, discuss and consider approval of the regular meeting minutes from May 9th, 2018. And we all just have such great memories, right?
This was the entertaining one.
And
Oh,
just
yes.
FYI, it is streaming now. It started at 5:30.
Okay.
We're on May 9th.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion that we approve the regular meeting minutes for May 9th, 2018 as presented.
One of you two, because he wasn't here yet. So.
Second.
I was reading, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm the second.
Yeah, it's a two-word. Okay, so I have a motion from Mr. Cash and a second from Mr. Bokniak, because Mr. Weeks was still reading, to approve.
This looked like an interesting meeting. I'm sorry I slept through it.
To approve the May 9th, 2018 meeting minutes. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, passes unanimously. Skipping over item 7 and 8 to be tabled, I'll move on to item number 9. Discuss and consider approval of the special meeting minutes for April 2nd joint session with 4A and 4B, 2018, of course.
Pretty straightforward.
I remember these. Now I remember these.
Yeah.
These are all executive session. Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's not anything to go through.
No.
I make a motion to approve the
No, we're on, yes,
Tenth.
yes, April 2nd. Correct.
2nd joint meeting.
Second.
A motion for Mr. Bokniak and a second for Mr. Weeks to approve the special meeting minutes from April 2nd, joint session 4A and 4B. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Passes unanimously. We'll move on to item number 10. Discuss and consider approval of the special meeting minutes for April 10th, 2018, joint meeting with 4A, 4B, and Town Council.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one too. And it was executive session mostly.
Mostly.
I'll make a motion that we approve the April 10, 2018 special meeting minutes.
I have a motion from Mr. Cash and a second from Mr. Weeks to approve the special meeting minutes from April 10th, 2018, joint meeting with 4A, 4B, and Town Council. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Passes unanimously. So now we get to move on to item number 13. Discuss and consider 2018-2023 Economic Development Strategic Plan and Goals. A, downtown development. Ms.
Yeah,
Tracy.
this one was put on the agenda, one as a follow-up from our joint strategic planning session, and then two, to see if there were any updates or anything you'd like to see changed to the strategic plan as a whole, as we're moving forward into hopefully finalizing the strategic plan, and that'll be brought back before the boards and council January and February for final approval and adoption of our strategic plan. So just last opportunity, as your bedside reading material is sitting there, if there was anything you've caught along the way since our last meeting. And then specifically, I know Mr. Cash wanted to talk about downtown.
Okay, I know that most of us reached out to you ahead of time with any revisions or corrections, or we talked about those two in our last meeting, correct? So I don't know if anybody else has anything to add or change.
No, I was good with it. When I read through it another time, I was seeing some, I can't remember the exact paragraph talking about film, productions.
Film friendly.
Yeah. And that's still considered a high priority? I mean,
So I don't know that it's necessarily a high priority.
Great.
Sunnyvale is considered a Texas film-friendly community, and so we are part of the Texas Film Commission. So we're on their website, we have pictures. I just went to, in order to keep the designation, you have to have somebody on staff that has gone through the training, the one-day training. I just went to that the Friday before Thanksgiving, and they talk about what you can do to help the tourism portion of the film-friendly industry and what economic development that actually means for a community. And it was just unbelievable to see the numbers that are spent in a community whenever there's a film being produced there. So the next item will probably be to do in the next newsletter, a call for photos. So if somebody wants their house or their property to be utilized for film industry, then we get those times so that we can put them on the website and people can look at it and see what we have to offer.
Yeah,
So
and-
it is a big tourist attraction that could essentially, if we had things for people to spend money at, would be a great economic.
Because I do know, and so one of you long timers helped me remember, but I know that we had a small film produced here, and it was on the property where there's like the buildings that what looks like a saloon, and I can't think of what that property's called. I know it's been a long time ago, because I believe Terry Reed and Rose Motley were involved in that as far as the chamber, but I do believe that there was some small film produced on that property.
And I don't remember which movies, but there were about 4 different movies that have actually been filmed here, pieces of them.
Right, and I do know that they, I was got in contact with because of the power plant. And so they had come to town, and there was some interest in doing some filming at the power plant there at Barnes Bridge. Of course, the company didn't allow that, but that has come up too. So, and I do still think we have photos somewhere that were professionally taken.
information, I didn't know where that all came from, but it sounds like it's something that's continuing, so that's fine.
I think it started with the chamber
I
actually
remember
started it.
Terry talking about it back then, yeah.
Okay, so are we talking about downtown development right now, or that's not part of item 14? No. So we're
Separate.
on A, downtown development, on item 13?
So one of the things that came out of the strategic planning was the possibility of land acquisitions, or what we can do, what that vision is, what that looks like. So essentially this kind of falls under 14. nobody can seem to know what the vision of downtown is. And as we talked about it more, it became a little evident when you're looking at Collins Light expansion and looking at light poles and what that looks like and how does that fit into our downtown or Main Street, you know, however we want to coin it. And so then it seemed necessary to try and figure out what that vision is before we can even move forward with purchasing land or anything else, because if we don't know what we're looking at, how can we take other steps? So the thought is, kind of thought maybe if we appointed a committee together of 4A, 4B, town council and staff, and come up with a vision or a mission statement on what this committee would do to help kind of guide our downtown vision, and then include our stakeholders in the town center, town district overlay, to kind of come up with that broad vision of what everybody envisions this area to look like. So we have a starting point, something to move forward with, some negotiations that we can use when talking to other people that want to develop downtown or Main Street, and just kind of see where it takes us. So I don't know how to answer or create a plan for what a downtown would look like, or a process if we don't know what the people holding all the cards really kind of think, what's their plans, how we can move forward on any of that.
So,
Open
I think we-
completely to thoughts.
I think we set a pretty good direction at that last meeting, joint meeting. I mean, before that, we were just feeling, we didn't know where the council was gonna be, what their position was, and now we know. It's pretty high on their priority list, so we got that feedback, and now that we've gotten feedback from them and interacted with 4B, I think we have a way better sense of direction as far as what our end goal is. It's just how do we get from here to there, and that's what a committee would be for, so.
yeah, and I think it would be good, I visited a little bit with Tracy and the mayor about this committee, but that we would, you know, first get the representatives together, you know, from the town and 4A, 4B, the chamber, and kind of determine what our mission and our end goal would be. And then I think after that, we would need to include the overlaid property owners, because we don't know what the vision is of those property owners until we sit down and visit with them. And that would certainly help us know what their plan is for their property. And if at that time there would be any property for sale or anything like that.
There is something to be said about holding your cards closer to your vest in that process, though. Even though this is all public, and I get that. At some point, we need to have conversations, because it directly affects our interaction with those landowners with respect to what we want to do and what, you know, we can work out with them. So it's a fine line, and I know we have to strike some balance there, but I'd like to have a better idea about what we want to do as a town before we step to that next level and know what our options are.
And that's what the idea of is, creating these appointed, just from 4A, 4B, the chamber and the town council, and then a couple of staff members in that committee come up with the vision and everything before any of the property owners or anything kind of come to, I guess, kind of what they're looking at before we include anybody else into that.
My only, I agree with the approach. My only concern would be the length of time that this group has to get together to do this. And if anything changes on the other side before we've had discussions with anybody, as far as, you know, our potential, our current landowners willing to give consideration to this type of project. I don't want the project to take a year, and in the meantime the project sold, or some of the land sold or something, and now it went to a different use. In other words, getting early indication maybe of are folks behind the concept or not, you know, before we get too far out there, might be a good idea.
I think they expressed that we need to make this decision relatively quickly.
I agree with
Like
that.
this month.
I agree with
Was-
that.
Was someone on the council's comment that it needed to be done this month?
Yes.
Yeah,
I.e., I think they meant that maybe one or more of the landholders already had their ball rolling on what they were gonna do with their property.
It's zoned for town
That
center
was
overlay
implied,
anyway,
it
so
wasn't.
it's gotta be something that jives with that zoning ordinance, so.
and some of it also appears to be a chicken before the egg type thing too, of your plan for the overlay, or take a step up above that of what do you want in there, is kind of dependent on what you have to work with too. I mean, you got to have both. I mean, if you only have, let's say, this much property to work with, that changes your plan of what you're even thinking of. If you get a much bigger piece of land or a different type of land that you can work with, that can change fairly significantly what your plan is. So in concept, it's good. I think it can't be done in isolation, though, too easily. If that makes sense.
So couldn't they be part of the, are we allowed to have them part of the committee or the vision of it?
I think that was step 2, wasn't it?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Somehow merge the ideas of that committee with the majority landholders that are in this area and and again, that was one of, when can we do, what month
Is
can
that
we
possible?
do that?
But we
Yeah.
need to know what our plan is before we approach them. I think that's the impetus, that's the ideology behind the committees, or committee.
Thank
And I think that it
Our
was-
plan is develop it contiguously with what's already here.
Versus theirs.
And does that fit into the future plans of these property owners?
So if we do it separately and then join together, we might be back to square one.
They may have already sold and their plan may already be in process by that time, before that time.
But even if let's say the property did sell, at least we have kind of our vision to kind of work with the person. Let's say a developer bought a piece of property, and so if we have some sort of vision or idea of what we want that to look like, we know how we can accept those plans or not accept those plans, or work with them to try and change it, or kind of co-create, incentivize them to help build our vision. So I think no matter if the current property owners or future property owners, if we don't have a vision, we can't really work with any of them, and we can mold it to kind of fit our thoughts. But I guess the idea came when we're trying to plan for an expansion of a road, and it is in our town center district, but nobody can envision what that town center is, and we need to get light poles now, but what does that look like? And just being able to have that vision that we currently don't have, there's already a need to have it. So if we don't start and get the process rolling, then we're still nowhere.
And
The committee needs to be appointed and
Right.
and a meeting scheduled, if for no other reason than to just get the ball rolling.
Quick.
And I would nominate Mr. Cash, who seems to have had the most interest in this.
he's the most
From-
passionate
from day
about it.
one.
I would agree, because I will be representing the chamber, so just FYI.
Shoot, we got this one in the bag, man.
I would be in full support of that as well.
Definitely.
Terry, you want to go ahead and move into item number 14, if there's no further?
Okay, sure. All right, are we good with that? Okay, all right, everybody, then let's move on to item 14. Discuss and consider appointing a member of the 4A board to sit on the Downtown Vision Committee. And Mr. Weeks had mentioned Mr. Cash. I think he's the most passionate. Bachniak agrees.
Definitely.
Would you like to be on
sure.
that?
Visionary is what I
Sure.
got, yes.
Well, passion too.
I'm
though.
sneaky.
A visionary.
Okay, so we don't have to vote it.
If you'll motion and vote for us, so Weeks nominated,
Okay.
Cash, Paul seconded.
Okay, all right, so, so we have Mr. Weeks made a nomination to appoint Mr. Cash Mr. Bokniak seconded that. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All right. This is unanimous.
We're grateful for his willingness to participate.
I'm ready to go.
Great. All right, then we'll move into item number 15, discuss and consider marketing flyers and website flip book from the Flyer View Group. That's hard to read.
On the dais, you have an estimate sheet from FlyerView. And what we are needing is some marketing material for ICSC conference, or just in general. ICSC stands for the International Council of Shopping Center. It's a big retail conference. And we go to try to attract retailers to come to Sunnyvale. So the next one we have coming up, it's in January. We don't currently have any marketing material to be able to take to these companies to show them. So here is an example of here's a couple examples actually, but the one that I've kind of, whether you agree or not, the one that I've kind of liked is this Bartonville one, just because, not because of the horse, but whatever the picture is on Sunnyvale, when you open it up, kind of seeing where the location is. And suggestion last night from 4B was to kind of blow this up and be more of the DFW Metroplex. Most
Versus
people
the
know
state.
that Dallas is in Texas, so showing it closer view. And then you open it up, and what you essentially have on one side is the aerial map of Sunnyvale, and then we can zoom in on locations to kind of bring it out. So if we wanted to try to recruit a downtown developer that could come in, we could pinpoint that, or we could pinpoint Provident or Sunnyvale Center and make those bigger. And then on the other side, what you have essentially is kind of the ins and outs of Sunnyvale, the demographics, the traffic counts, we can have the Sunnyvale Center flyers, industrial park area, all of that. So you have one easy map that you can go and talk to people. And then kind of, not jokingly, but told 4B last night, when I just want to go over to the Co-Create space and have a meeting, then I have a map with me that I could take. But anyway, this is
That's
kind
your
of
favorite?
And on this invoice, what is
This-
that
so I'll
particular?
tell you.
How's
This
this?
is-
You guys want to look at these
Represented?
other ones?
So
I mean, I go with her
this,
opinion
yes,
and
the,
look
oh,
at these
here, you can
ones.
take a look at this one. Go.
This
That is
This
the
is the
layout.
litho
Reprint.
reprint?
That's the layout I liked the
Did you get
best
400
out of
of
this.
those?
So what you have, so you see the litho posters, two-sided posters, the first 100, and you see the $3,000. And then the litho reprint is $1. So
And this is the litho reprint,
That
which is
is-
folded in
that's
to,
the map and
to
all of
make
that.
the-
So this
handout.
price quote
Okay.
is for 500 of those brochures. And then in addition to that, you have the digital dynamic map brochure.
That's what she just showed.
That is taking this map and putting it digitally onto the website. And so what happens is you're essentially looking at that and you can flip through the pages. So if you've ever seen the Dallas newspaper on the website, you click through the pages and it flips and all that good stuff. The idea to have it on the website is you get it and put it on the website, and then for a year you have unlimited edits that you can make to it. So you can't make the edits. We're probably going to have the printed version for a couple of years. Then you have the one on the website that you can change however many times you want to. There's a $995 additional annual charge for after this first initial payment. Then each year you would pay an annual renewal fee of $995 to be able to make those edits and just keep your website one updated. This was brought before 4B last night, and they approved to pay for half of the total cost to be able to do the digital and print version, as well as half of the cost of the annual renewal fees.
Okay, so remind me, what does this include? It includes so many brochures, it also includes the posters, or I'm just,
So it includes 500 of those posters. So if let's say we got the Martinville one, it would be 500 of those brochures.
And then
Well,
it
what's
would-
the litho poster? Is that what that's considered?
That's what that is.
That's what that's considered, okay.
And then and it also includes for them to do it onto the digital map brochure for the website.
For the
So our
website.
part's about 5,000, and
Yes,
4B's
sir.
is about 5,000.
And then, $500 for the annual renewal.
Right, so it would be, we would get 500 of those, and then it would be on the website. And then we pay almost $1,000 a year to renew it for the website, but if we want like more of these, like next year, but 500 will probably last a
They're
long
about
time.
So they'll last a while.
Yeah.
So do we have the option of not renewing if we don't want to at the end of the year?
Yeah, they would just be taken off the website.
Okay. Really? We wouldn't have that license to keep it on our website?
Well, I guess you may, and you just wouldn't get any edits or
Right.
anything like that.
I
But
mean,
yes.
it's better than nothing.
Mhm.
That's probably pretty cool. I mean, $8,000 is a lot of money, but it's probably pretty, I mean, it's discounted down there at the bottom, but we don't have that now. That would
We
be-
don't have any marketing
Any
material
marketing.
right now. And the marketing materials that we had, they were even more expensive than with if y'all remember the folders and all that stuff whenever the rebranding went through.
I think, I went out to the link that you had in there, and I looked at the online deal. I don't know if anybody else did. I like that. It was pretty cool.
So on the staff memo in your packets, your board packets, the staff memo has a link that you can click on that'll take you to sorry you can't see it, but it'll take you to that digital map.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good, pretty good. My question though is, does this include any photography?
We have to provide all the material.
So all these pictures and everything we've got to do,
Yes, but I have a lot of pictures to choose from. And the other kicker to this is, once y'all approve and say, let's go, I've got to start working on it because we have a month until ICSC. So I'm pretty confident that I have everything that I need to send to them and get this thing started. And then once we get the proof, then I would send it out to everybody to kind of just double check it and look and see if anybody wants to change anything, different pictures.
Horses, blue bonnets, town hall.
the school.
The schools.
Do you think this map is really that functional to be that big like this is?
Philip,
It takes up a good chunk of the Bartonville one, but you think that's all this is functional for people to use?
They use them.
I know we used to do a map, and then we kind of quit doing one. But I know a lot of other EDCs use one.
At least you know the boundaries of the
California does.
town.
yeah,
I mean, I've used them in several different towns. You see people at ICSC, the communities.
yeah, and you
they're
point
saying
out
that-
the industrial park or certain other areas, it's.
If we got one
contiguous to-
industrial park tenant out of
To
the
80
deal.
or,
it'd be
basically identify where it is within the town.
Yeah, if we got one extra business
estate. Yeah, I love
opportunity, it'd
that.
be well worth it.
I live in that
What is that?
countryside.
It is not.
Put it up, Paul.
You got it upside down.
That's my
You're
own
tripping.
What's your question then?
What is what?
What were they using
No,
out of these selections?
I was
People
just-
are showing their displays.
I see.
A lot of them are doing both because of the,
Really usable.
so the idea of the website portion of it is that most site consultants or somebody's gonna look at your website before they even talk to you. So if we already
Yeah,
have
it
that
takes
listed
one
on
side
our
of the
website and
thing.
they see that,
Right.
and then you can always use any trade show you go
This is
to
kind
or
of
sitting down and talking to anybody
I
coming
like
into
that.
town. You
Potentially.
can
I
always
like
lay that
this.
out and then they can
It was
take that
just
with them.
Huge.
And not just look at the maps we have
But
on
I'm
the
not
wall,
the one
because
who
those are
uses
great,
them.
and I love working with the maps we have on the wall, but this
And
is
I
something they could
think-
physically take at that point to
I think it
kind
was
of,
when 7 was here, because
Look
Pam
back
Winder
at.
really liked the
And it'll
maps.
help you.
But we
kinda
just quit using
show
them.
and
because
sell.
he doesn't
I believe so,
necessarily,
yes,
but
sir.
She uses them. So my question is, I like the idea of just zooming in on the Metroplex. You're definitely gonna do that. And then when they circle in, are you talking like the industrial park, Sunnyvale Center. I mean, town, what are you
Southeast
gonna?
corner. I
Well,
mean,
for like ICSC, that's typically all retail space.
Mm,
That's not necessarily industrial space, but would you still put the industrial area on the map?
I
Yeah.
would.
So you could use it for both.
But it wouldn't be, I'm just, these ones that are like out, what do you
Blow-ups.
think you would see to use as
A
blow-ups?
lot of that would probably be around our four corners, the Provident, and highlighting that because that's where we're recruiting right now more than in Sunnyvale Center,
Center.
taking both of those and highlighting it in. And then you could take that and in those bubbles almost just show their development plans.
Okay.
And so that way they kind of see what is left available, what's already taken, and they're seeing the retailers around us.
If you think that it's something we need,
We need something.
Need
So,
something.
I mean, I think that, and I know, as you've seen, people use these left and right, so I
Mhm.
think that it would be a great asset for under, I mean, essentially both $10,000. We have a lot of promotional marketing money
Yes.
that we haven't spent in quite a while, so I think getting some quality marketing pieces would be great.
Do you
You're the
motion-
one using it, and so I'm deferring to you of what's the most effective
right,
construction of
thing
the
to
piece.
use.
It sounds like you shop dollars, so you feel fairly comfortable that this compares favorably to.
Well, and I've used them before as well, so I know their quality, I know how they work, and I'm confident in everything that they do.
Never even heard of that Flyer View.
They used to be Aerial Focus.
Oh, okay. I think I've heard of them. All right, so, we
if
need
you
to
choose to
entertain,
do it-
we need to make a motion to pay half of that total?
And include the half of the annual membership renewal, half annual renewal,
But the renewal the following year?
yes. But just going ahead and putting that in motion so I don't have to bring it back, say, we're gonna renew this.
Okay, well,
Good.
I was just say approve,
we
motion
want,
approved.
we want to make a motion to approve the
The-
Flyer View and the total amount with the annual renewal.
So
help
motion to approve the Fireview digital flip book for the 8,000, the annual renewal for $995. That's
Okay, so I think.
One half.
One half of the 9,995 plus the annual renewal. So there's
Okay.
two.
One half
So
of that.
just go ahead and do it again. You're good. We want you to,
do it right, huh?
well, we want you to do motions too. so.
Okay, motion to approve the Fireview digital flip book and the annual renewal for a total of $9,995 for half that cost,
Including the annual renewal of $995.
including the annual renewal of
That's
$995.
Half.
Half of that.
Half of that. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll second
And
that.
then, I forgot your last name?
Cora,
Cora. I'm so sorry.
K-O-R-A.
Okay, so I have a motion for Mr. Core and a second for Mr. Bokniak to approve the Flyer Review flip book for half of $9,995, including half of the annual renewal of $995. Did I say that right? Okay, all in favor, please.
That's good.
It passes unanimously. Okay. That's a lot. They must like that number 995. Okay. We'll move on to item number 16, Economic Development Director updates. Ms. Tracy.
Just a couple of updates. One, wanted to let y'all know, the Dallas-Fort Worth marketing team has always been kind of a member of the Dallas-Fort Worth marketing team, and it's just all the communities in the DFW Metroplex. They kind of send out leads, they invite you to their quarterly luncheon. However, it's free, it's been free, and we haven't paid anything. If you are a paying member, you also get extra added benefits like being able to attend marketing trips or going to the site consultant visits that they host. And so I opted to be a paying member. It's a $500 membership, and that will allow you access to more consultants, site selectors, and visits to be able to sell your community. So I thought that that would be, see where that goes for this year and see how we can utilize that to better market Sunnyvale as well. Logo attire, I just got with James my emails. We've had email issues, and so I'm gonna get James' order and then everything that everybody's put in for logo attire, your shirts, hats, whatever you decided. If you haven't put anything in, which I think a majority said whether they wanted to or not, if you didn't want something and you do want something, change your mind, let me know. I can send you the link if you don't have it yet, or if you don't still have it. If you remember, it was up to $60 per person to be able to get shirt, hat, whatever it was that you
I couldn't
wanted.
remember. Do you know how much the sweater is that I wanted to get? Because I thought it'd be nice if I had a shirt too, but I didn't know if that was going to be.
I think this sweater was $30 to $40. I'll have to go back and look.
Okay, so I'd like the link again just to look,
Okay.
because.
Would anybody else?
Yes, please.
See,
But we need to get it ordered soon. I'm going to get my sweater, and it's going to be summer. So I don't know if you've seen the ones that Tracy wears, because
All
she's
the
got a
time.
gray one, and
Yeah,
and so
no.
it's really nice. It's for women, but it's a very nice sweater that's got the logo on it. And, like I'm wearing this right now because I'm cold. Us women get cold all the time, but
See, you can still wear it there in summer.
yeah, because it's cold in the buildings with the air conditioning. Exactly. Okay, so
So I'll get that sent back out
okay.
first thing in the morning.
okay.
And then the Glacier Track Master Plan, I know this is more 4B, but y'all kind of like to stay on top of the Glacier
Yeah.
Track. So wanted to let y'all know we've got the agreement signed with David McCaskill, moving forward with him, looking at a kickoff meeting towards the end of January with the holidays and busy December coming around, and then the ICSC event at the beginning of January. And their schedule, it just ended up being pushed to the end of January. So we'll
Kickoff meeting. Who did you say?
That's with the Glacier Committee and David McCaskill.
Who's David McCaskill?
So he is the engineering architect firm that was hired to do the master plan.
Is that 40 acres?
32.
Okay.
Is that the group that's meeting with them, is it 4B and?
So there's 2 4B members and 2 council members, or 1 council. So Kara Ranta got on it when she was a council member. Council elected for her to stay on and represent council since she has equestrian horse background knowledge. So it's Jim Wade, Kara Ranta, Michael Giordano, and Nikki Anthony.
Do you remember if we got that whole pond in the deal?
Mhm.
Okay.
Now it is a drainage pond now, so it will continue to be that.
Detention,
Detention, yes, detention.
silted up detention pond.
Isn't
It
that
was-
this may be a
It's like 2 feet deep.
It was flowing recently pretty hard.
This would be a stupid question. So is that going to keep it full for if we have horses there to have drinking water?
Yeah,
Because
well.
it's drainage now, it would be more tempted not to dry up. I don't know. I don't know if that. I was just curious.
I mean, it could still potentially dry up. I mean, if there's
Yeah,
no
it's not
water
very
flowing,
deep, is
it's
it?
not going to.
I'd like to hope that they have some money or some plan to dig that back out and make it more user-friendly down the road, like for kids or something to fish out of. But we digress,
Yes,
And we're not
Sorry.
4B.
and we're not for me.
Okay.
that is
throwing
all
that
that.
out there.
or do we need to be?
I agree with you, sir.
All right. So
Sorry.
we'll move on to item number 17. Discuss future agenda items and events.
So the next meeting is January 2019, not 2018.
Okay.
But we need to look at moving y'all's meeting back to the week after due to the ICSC event starting that evening. So that's something I can send out and we can look at, see if you are available the next Wednesday.
The 16th. it would be.
16th. That'd work well for me, just, I don't know how it is for everybody else.
Why is that name, that date? Oh, never mind, it's the first chamber board meeting date. That's at noon, okay. So you're thinking Wednesday, January 16th?
Yes.
But you're gonna have all of us
At
confirm
5
that?
p.m.
Okay.
Does that work for
Yeah,
everybody?
looks good to me.
Good.
Yeah, it looks good to me.
And just remember to mark the calendar.
Okay.
And then December 5th is the annual Chamber Awards luncheon from 11:30 to 1 here at Town Hall. If you-
Well, this is our 4th annual, and so it gives us an opportunity to recognize some of our businesses and volunteers and outstanding folks. So this year we're going to do a large business of the year, which is Lineage, a small business of the year, which is Maze Media, and then we have some other, they're going to be kind of surprised, but Outstanding Service Award, Volunteer of the Year. We do a Lifetime Achievement Award. I think there's like 9 different awards that we do. And this is something the chamber just started, and it's been a great event. So
Yes.
catered by Baker's Ribs. So just, I mean, you're always welcome to come to the chamber
DSO
events.
gives out an award, the fire department gives out.
Yes,
an award.
yeah. Let the police and fire do their and then the ISD too. They pick ISD outstanding volunteer. Gives them
Well, I know
an
the fire
opportunity.
department did it. I'd change my fire extinguishers quicker this last time.
So.
Town council is only got one meeting in the month of December as far as regular meetings go, and that's December 10th. And then just those December 24th, 25th, and January 1st.
Great.
Unless there.
I just need to remember to add James. I need to get his email. Because are you getting the chamber emails? I know you are.
Mhm.
No?
I haven't been.
Are you getting chamber emails?
Yes.
Okay, because one just went out yesterday about it. So I'll get your email and I'll add the two of you if you want to get them. Because
Sure.
the chamber's doing great things. We've really grown and doing good things at Sunnyvale. So.
Oh, and then if anybody wants to be added to Derek's
Oh, yes.
newsletter list, let me know and I can.
Okay. All right, so we are going to, let me get my watch here. We're going to recess into executive session pursuant to Chapter 551, Subchapter D of the Texas Governmental Code at 6:30 p.m. Do you want me to read all that? At 6:30 p.m., okay, we're going to discuss the executive session agenda, A, Section 551.087, Economic Development, to deliberate the offer of a financial other incentive to a business prospect, project tenant, project Bader, project Atmosphere, project Breakfast. Also, B, Section 551.072, deliberations about real property. Town Center District Overlay.